shall we start with some honorable mentions? People who were bad, but not bad enough. And if anybody wants to jump in, I'll just leave that open.
I mean, I have 30 honorable mentions. I'll just name a few that I have in front of me, and maybe some of them are on your list. You don't have to react, but I did put Pity Martinez as a honorable mention. Emiliano Rigoni, Christian Coleman, Kevin Cabral, Stevie G, Brian Rodriguez, Angelo Rodriguez, Luis Amaria, Jonder Cadiz, Edison Flores, who I actually removed from my top 10 and added someone else instead of him. Gonzalo Verón, who you guys are familiar with. Innocent Emigara, just because he's a name that I just freaking loved. And then Lucas Cavallini from when he was on the Vancouver Whitecaps. But I didn't feel like they either were big enough names to put on, had the expectations, or maybe some of them are still trying to figure things out, like a Rigoni. Like, he's been terrible so far, but I'm not ready to write him off just yet, but that's that.
Mucho trabajo, Gonzalo Verón. What a guy. I miss him. Never got into Jesse's good books, but that's okay. That's okay. For me, I put Matthias Pellegrini on this list because I don't think he was given a fair shot when he got here. His massive price tag had high expectations, but that board ruined his chances. So definitely a bust on paper, but knowing the backstory, I think is tough. And this guy is Shergill McDonald from Chicago. He was just like in a string of really bad designated player signings, or like when it first hit. He played a whole season, only scored 4 times, and was shipped out to be like a replacement for somebody else. And he was one of those guys that was always on the list of like one of the worst ever, but I couldn't justify getting him in my top 10. So those are 2 for me.
Fair enough.
Speaking of Gonzalo Verón, I think that's the first DP I was ever exposed to, because that's the only person Andrew could ever talk about was Gonzalo Verón.
What a
but
guy.
Yeah, a couple of honorable mentions for me. I have 5 on my list. I've got Claudio Reyna for Red Bull. I'm sure you've experienced that one all too much. Sean Maloney for Chicago. I put Jairo Torres right now on my Chicago honorable mentions, mainly because of the price tag and Chicago's, what's the right way to say this?
Lack
refusal
of success.
to play him. Then I've got Jefferson for SKC, and then the last one is a fan favorite here, Tomas Chacon for Minnesota.
I had him on one of my lists, but I cut him early because I felt like he just didn't have the expectations. But he had the hair. He had the hair to be a baller.
He did have the hair. Yeah, that's true.
He did not. Yeah. Sean Maloney. I missed that guy. He was here for
what a
season,
name.
but I liked him. But
yeah, great name.